Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Freelance Friday podcast. It's time for my favorite episode of the year. It's the episode where I go through all of my different revenue streams for the year and talk through what my strategy was for them, as well as how they're going to change, how that strategy is going to change, if at all, for the year ahead. My goal with these episodes is always just to inspire you a little bit on what possibilities are out there. As you'll see, I have a very varied set of revenue streams. I'm a big believer in diversification as an entrepreneur. And yeah, hopefully this will inspire you to maybe take action on a new revenue stream or scale something. So let's talk about the lowest number on this list, which is 1% of my revenue, and it belongs to speaking. So why did speaking only account for 1% of my revenue? Well, it's not because I didn't do a lot of speaking, because I actually did do a good amount. I've done more speaking this year than I have really in the past 2 to 3 years, truly. So the answer to that is really it just doesn't pay very much, or at least I am not at the point where I am able to charge, $20,000 per speaking engagement, for example, like some big keynote speakers are. So here's the thing with speaking. I think it's really important before you say yes to a speaking engagement to assess the ROI. I think this is true for anything that you're going to do. Assess the ROI, assess your potential return on investment, and figure out how you're going to measure that return on investment. You have to really justify the cost that you're spending on it, whether you are paying to get to an event yourself, or even if you are being paid by the event or your travel is being taken care of, you still have a cost because you're going to be away from the business for minimum 1 day. But a lot of times these conferences that I speak at are, 3 days or so, plus your travel days, plus your prep time that it takes to prepare for these events. So that definitely costs money, it costs time, costs energy to speak. So keep that in mind. But on the flip side, I still take free speaking depending on the situation. Not always, but if it is a really aligned audience, if it is an event that I really want to attend for myself anyway, or that I would usually have paid to be at, there are different reasons why I might say yes to a free speaking gig. And so keep that in mind too. You also don't want to get too big for your britches and potentially miss out on a really good opportunity. So I started off the year speaking at Social Media Marketing World in February, and that speaking gig actually got me a couple of other paid speaking gigs after that. People who were in the audience of that event said, "Hey, you're really good. Really enjoyed your talk. Do you want to come speak at my event in April," or whenever that was? So it ended up having a kind of domino effect. Side note, I will be at Social Media Marketing World again this year. So if you're going, let me know. I will also leave a link for you if you want to buy a ticket if you haven't yet. So I'll leave that in the show notes or description box. It'll be a lot of fun. It was one of the most fun conferences I've ever been to. The energy that you get from being in a room with people is so much different than just, interacting over a screen. I'm also planning to release a book soon, and I think speaking and books go really well hand in hand. So it is something that I'm looking to continue to grow and scale and hopefully charge a little bit more money for in the new year. Next up is another small piece of my revenue stream that I'm really hoping to scale in the new year, and that is memberships and coaching. I really put these two together because I really only do coaching in my membership, the Freelance Friday Club, nowadays. A few years ago, I was doing a lot of one-on-one ongoing coaching. I really do miss that in some ways, so maybe I will do some more of that next year, but I find that the group environment is just a lot more, one, it's a little bit easier to manage and to scale, but it also, I think, has the best outcomes because you kind of have that group accountability for each other as well. So this made up about 5% of my revenue last year. Like I said, I'm really hoping to scale it in the new year, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it was so small first. I actually shut down the ability to join the Freelance Friday Club for probably 6 months out of the year last year, or this year, technically. And the reason for that was I wasn't happy with the platform that I was on. And I actually was at the point where I wasn't sure if I was going to continue it because of that. So while I loved the group and I really loved the members that we currently had, I just was hesitant to open it up to new members if there was a potential that I was going to close it. I've actually moved my membership platform over to a new one. It's called Uscreen. I've talked about Uscreen before. I shared a vlog maybe a couple weeks ago now, sharing my process of moving over. I just have this like complete renewed sense of excitement about the membership. I feel really confident about it. My members are really excited about it. We've got not just the desktop, website, but we've also got a mobile app and a ton of other things going on with the membership. So yeah, that's really, really helped. And I think if you are somebody who is also looking to do the same, maybe you're looking to scale your one-on-one offers, you're looking to add a recurring revenue stream to your mix, you should definitely think about a membership. And in particular, you might want to consider Uscreen, who is sponsoring today's episode. Inconsistent revenue as a freelancer or content creator is one of the most challenging things about working for yourself. And that's one of the reasons that memberships are really becoming so popular. It's a really great way to connect with your audience, but also provides consistent recurring revenue that can be even easier to predict than relying solely on launches, brand deals, or full service client work. So Uscreen really is an all-in-one membership platform for video creators. Your members will immediately feel right at home with the Netflix-style viewing experience. You can increase video viewership with an intuitive interface that helps members discover new content or binge watch your premium members-only content. And with Uscreen's in-house mobile apps, you can become a part of your members' daily lives. Having your own mobile branded app is like owning a prime piece of real estate on your members' mobile devices. They're just a tap away from diving into your video content, live streams, and interacting with their fellow community members. Uscreen is trusted by creators of all sizes, including me. As I mentioned, I just relaunched the Freelance Friday Club on Uscreen and have already been so impressed by the interface as well as the customer support. Video remains one of the most engaging forms of content out there, and making targeted premium video is one way to niche down and speak to the most in-tune segment of your community. So if memberships sound like something that you're interested in, be sure to click the link down below. Let them know that Latasha sent you. You can hop on a discovery call with the Uscreen team, and they'll talk through your revenue potential, map out a plan for you, and help get you onboarded to Uscreen. I couldn't recommend them anymore. Okay, next up is YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube. I don't even want to talk about YouTube revenue, to be honest with you. Editing Latasha here, realizing I never actually read the percentage aloud. YouTube AdSense was 6% of my revenue this year. YouTube revenue, meaning the ads that play before, during, on the sidebar of my videos, they have been having a mind of their own this year. And this is one of the reasons that I'm looking to scale the membership, that I'm looking to scale some of the other things on this list. I really would like to, my goal for 2024 is to become independent of YouTube ads. Like, I don't even want to have to really think about them or stress about them at all, because they've done a number on me this year, let's just say. So I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but there have been a few months out of this year where my revenue on YouTube has dipped to basically zero. And it's been of no fault of my own. Views on this channel are up, subscribers are up, watch time is up, everything is up. Everything is in the green. Thank you all for tuning in every week. I really appreciate you. But unfortunately, that still isn't enough. YouTube is just going through some things. They're just going through some things. And I've had to make some changes this year, to be honest, about how I am really funding this YouTube channel and keeping it alive. And one of those ways is sponsorships, which I'll talk about later on. We just have to roll with it. I think this is a thing as a creator. I don't think there are really any platforms nowadays that are really doing a great job of monetizing just through the platform themselves. I think we have to be creative. We have to find other ways to fund what we're doing. And that's just what it is. So again, this is a great use case for a membership, thinking about putting premium content on that as opposed to, on YouTube, and just connecting with people in another way. So that's been that. Don't rely on YouTube AdSense. That's my best advice, because it can go up and down, and you don't want to be left scrambling if it is down. This one was really surprising to me, actually. Speaking of speaking, I just went to keynote an event talking about this, and I was really surprised to learn that I was this company's one of their top affiliates, and that affiliate revenue made up almost 10% of my total revenue this year. Now, that's not a huge number, 9%, let's round down a little bit. Not a huge number, But considering affiliate income is mostly passive, that's actually really, really exciting for me because I'm seeing some potential in an area that I could scale that doesn't require me to, hire another team member or burn myself out or post more, or do this or do that. I think there are little things that I can just tweak to my existing strategy to, make this even more fruitful. So, affiliate marketing, if you're new to this, this is where you maybe share a link to something and people sign up through your link or buy through your link, whatever it is, and you get a little payment in exchange for basically facilitating that relationship or making that introduction. It really is a win-win because it doesn't cost any extra for your viewers, the people who purchase through your link. It's really funded through the brand because you're making this introduction. And it's also nice because as opposed to sponsorships, which I do love sponsorships as well, we'll talk about that in a second, but they can come with some pressure, right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, a sponsored video, I want to make sure that it performs. I also think that sometimes the perception of sponsorships can be a little bit more challenging. Maybe your audience doesn't always think you're being authentic. Affiliate marketing is nice because you really only have to share it when you truly want to. The brand isn't going to be looking at every video and seeing, oh, did this perform well or did this not? It really is on your terms. So that's been pretty cool. So if there are any tools that you use, ask them, search on their website, see if they offer an affiliate program, and start sharing links. It doesn't have to be spammy. I certainly don't do that. I just link it when it makes sense in my videos and my courses and, wherever else. And yeah, so I'm looking to hopefully scale that number. It'd be cool if I could do like 20%, like double. That'd be awesome. Client work has been almost the same as affiliate income, which is really wild to me, about 10%. And how I defined client work, because obviously a lot of this is client work. I consider my YouTube sponsors clients. I consider my members clients, my coaching clients clients. This is really done for you client work. So I have been given an assignment. I've either edited a video, produced a course, done a social media strategy, managed social media, like done something like that that is completely done for you. And yeah, it's about 10% of my total revenue. Now, I want to be clear that this 10% is still a full-time income in and of itself. And the reason I like to explain that is because I think sometimes in this online education space, this content creation space, there are people out there who claim they can do stuff that they've never actually done. And I am not one of those people. And I'm not saying that to say I'm better or worse than anybody, but I do think it's really important for me that I'm not faking the funk, if you will, and that I'm actually doing the thing every day. The reason it's only 10% of my revenue is because the other things that have built around that business have just scaled quickly. I don't think I want to change that. I think I still want to work very selectively with clients. That's what I've been doing. I work with no more than like 1 to 2 clients at a time, generally speaking, so I can really take my time with the projects. I've also shifted a little bit. I'm doing a little bit less of like day-to-day social media management and more long-term strategic projects, whether that is a social media strategy and consulting client, or I've been doing a lot more video production work again. So creating courses for clients, creating big brand videos for clients. And these are things that take a little bit longer. And so, I may only be working with a handful of clients a year on some bigger strategic, higher impact projects. And I think that's what I want to keep doing in 2024. It's really fun. I feel like I'm really able to bring my full self to these projects as opposed to kind of running around like hectic and trying to manage 20 different clients at once. So if that's what's in the cards for me, I would love that. If not, you got to be able to adapt, right? That's something I've learned in this freelance world is you've got to be able to pull the lever on different things depending on where demand is at. So we'll see, but that's the goal. Brand deals. Okay, sponsorships, brand deals were about 30% of my revenue this year, which is quite a bit larger of a number than in years past and has been really exciting for me. But like I said, I've just kind of had to adapt. YouTube, that number went way down and I had to make up that revenue somewhere if I was going to keep producing YouTube videos, which I really, really want to do and want to. So, yeah, luckily I have been able to work with some really amazing brands. And the big thing for me this year, and the reason why I'm considering this a success, is because most of the brands that I've worked with have been ongoing, kind of recurring, long term partnerships. And that was really important to me. I don't ever want to be the person who's like, hey, try this tea, try this lipstick, try these like random things, especially that are not really aligned with my business. Not that there's, again, nothing wrong with it. I listen to business podcasts that talk about tea and lipstick all the time. And I don't care. I don't place any like values judgment on that. But for me personally, it's just easier for me to work with brands that are really aligned and that are ongoing, where I can really get to know the brand very well, be a true active member or user of the product or service, and really be able to recommend it to you with my full heart. So, yeah, I've had a couple of long term sponsors over the year. Hopefully, those will continue into 2024. And something else that's been interesting is I did work with a partnerships manager for part of the year. I had one back in 2022. He got a really great full-time career, so he had to leave. I loved him though. Then I was on my own for a while. Then I got another partnerships manager. I'm on my own again. And I think either option works. It just depends on your comfort level, I suppose, with negotiation and working with brands. But if you are newer and you're like, I don't even know what to charge, I don't know where to start, I think working with a partnerships manager can be really, really good. I'm really proud of myself because the biggest deals that I have negotiated this year and the longest term contracts that I've signed have been presented by me. They've been proposed by me. I sometimes feel like, oh, I'm not a good salesperson. I'm not good at negotiation. I need somebody else to do it for me. But, practice makes perfect. And I've been able to do pretty well for myself, I would like to say. And then the last thing on my list here is courses. Courses accounted for about 40% of my revenue this year. Now, courses were actually a little bit down as well from the year before. It's not down to a point where I'm like concerned or I feel like that part of my business is dying or courses are dead or anything like that. But yeah, I think there are a few reasons for this. I think one reason is I have put a little bit more energy into these other things, right? I've put a little bit more energy into the partnerships that I have working with brands. And when working with brands, what's nice about that is it takes some of the pressure off to have to sell in every episode of the podcast or sell in every YouTube video I do because it's being funded. So I actually really like that for my audience perspective as well, because I don't want, I get it. I know not everybody likes to listen to an ad. I try to really work with brands that I know you guys will like or that will have some impact on your business. But of course, sometimes there are going to be things that you're like, and doesn't really apply. I get it. Not everybody loves to listen to ads, but I think that selling your own stuff and doing the whole like, here's 10 email sequences every day about this product and like the pressure and the scarcity and that, all of these different sales tactics. I feel as a consumer, I would rather just listen to a 30-second, 60-second, 90-second ad than have my inbox blowing up by somebody trying to sell me a course, right? And obviously, I think there is a happy medium, and I do think that I am doing my best to achieve that. But yeah, I don't want to sell courses or sell anything that I don't really want to sell. I don't want to feel that pressure to be selling all the time. And I don't want to put that pressure on you guys either. I think there are some people in the online education space who would tell me this is really bad advice to like admit this or say this, but it's a rough time for a lot of people. I live in reality personally. I'm not just like manifest everything. Like I live in reality. I know a lot of people are struggling. So if there's other ways that I can fund my business, that makes me feel good, Yeah, so I think that's one reason is they've just had a little bit less focus. I think another reason is I actually have not launched anything new this year. And that there's a lot of reasons behind that. This is my first year that I've worked 100% on my own. Now I've worked with some amazing contractors, but I have not had like an ongoing full-time team member in over a year now. And so I've taken on a lot more responsibility in the business. And therefore, one of the impacts that that's had is that I haven't really been able to innovate and build new things as much. Now, I did work with an amazing instructional designer. Her name's Lorraine. And we did put together a new course. I decided because of the timing, I ended up getting sick this year, having travel, doing a bunch of different things. We're actually going to launch that next year. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I haven't released anything fully new outside of the Freelance Friday Club, the membership. And I have released some new courses exclusive to the Freelance Friday Club. So this course line item is really just for courses that are hosted on my course platform, not my membership, if that makes sense. So yeah, 40%, that's courses. What I plan to do different next year, I'm not really sure yet. I'm really not sure. I am creating new courses every single month in the Freelance Friday Club. And I think that's where a lot of my time and energy is going to go. I will, of course, still run the Social Media Management Accelerator. It's going to open up next year in January. You can get on the wait list now. I will leave that link for you in the description box and the show notes. That is my biggest course. It accounts for probably 50% of this 40%. And yeah, I definitely plan to run that again. I'm actually going through right now using this end of the year time to make some updates to it. I make updates every year. And also just, I'm trying to think through, is there a way that I can make it available more often? Because right now I'm only able to open SMMA like 3 times a year max. I would really like to have rolling enrollments for it or something, but I'm also a little bit afraid. So I don't know. I'm thinking through that, trying to figure that out because I think that would help me boost this course number up if I can offer it a little bit more. So those are my revenue streams for 2023. Those are the top 7. There are little sprinklings of other things in here as well, but these things really make up the bulk of my business. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Leave them down below. You can also submit a question to be read on the Freelance Friday podcast. I will leave that link as well in the show notes. Got lots of links for you today. But yeah, I would love to hear what your top revenue streams are, maybe what some of your goals are for the next year as well, if you want to leave me a comment. And I thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. Thanks to Uscreen for sponsoring this episode. You can check them out at the link in the description. Make sure to let them know that Latasha sent you, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.